A bunch of things conspired to make me feel compelled to make a video um, about one thing and many things, all in one. And that's a good thing because that kind of bridges stuff, that puts stuff together. You have an overarching idea and a lot of ideas that come off of that too. So I've got this really amazing pen, and I want to share it with you. I guess I've hinted at what's remarkable about this thing a few times and never really shown it off to its to its best potential, at its best potential. It's a great pen, and so is that, hidden away, all secretive and all. Yeah, it really is. Oh, it's so quiet. You saw this earlier, not long ago. Anyway, it'll be concealed for now. So, what's so special about this pen? I've hinted at it before, I've talked about it, and I've never really given it its due, actually. It's a pretty special pen. It's a Waterman's 552.5 LEC, and the LEC is this part, by the way. Not that, we'll come back to you in a minute, but it looks better than that, trust me. Anyway, the LEC part is that part. It's very cool. The whole pen is a serious 14K overlay. Great pen. And I bought this from Gary Lehrer, I want to say something like 3 years ago, something like that. Somewhere around there. And we just lost him suddenly last month, and it's taken me a while to kind of absorb it and want to talk about it. And I don't want this to be a bummer, because it's really not in a lot of ways. In most ways. In fact, almost all of the ways, except that we're going to miss him. But, look what he could bring to people, and did, and has. This thing is amazing. I met Gary, I saw him at the Commonwealth Pen Show a few years ago. I forget which year it was. I don't know, was it 2017, probably? And, of course, I knew about his, website and his famous book and all. Oh, shoot, I should have pulled that book out. Damn it. Oh, well. That was a mistake. But, I bought this pen from him, and this was a big deal, it still is. I got this, I didn't have much money, but I knew this is a great pen. The whole thing's 14 karat overlay. Really elegant, not overdone, nothing's ever stated or anything. Simple. The proportions are amazing. I mean, in some ways, you might say that's kind of a skinny fountain pen because of, what's happened in more recent years, where we've gotten the sense that a luxury fountain pen is oversized, and part of the equation of oversizedness is that it's chubby, it's thick, THICC, right? Anyway, but this has really elegant proportions. It's still not skinny, but it's got an elegant, it's just an elegant pen. It's got great proportions. Anyway, so I got this from Gary a few years ago. I think it was 2017 when I got this. 2018. I'll have to look it up. I forget. It was an amazing time, and I went to his house. He was not far from where my mother lived and where I grew up. Spent my teenage years in vaguely southern and mostly western Connecticut. And I was, not far from where Gary lived. He lived in the next town over from Seymour, which is the town where so much of these pens were made in the 1920s and even earlier, which is really cool. That's really cool. It is right there at ground zero for Waterman's. I believe it was their hard rubber parts, mostly, that were made there. It was the HP&E Day Company, which I've talked about before. I find that interesting. Anyway, look at that. Nice nib. Whoop. Anyway, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I had this whole thing prepared in my head, where I talked about Gary and what we're kind of connecting on in some way, which was just, where this pen was made and how it was made. By the way, before I proceed, it's Wednesday, right? That's so interesting. I mean, you write the way you write, right? It's just super abstracted. But, Gary was such a great guy. I mean, he was just so, it's funny. Pierre said something really smart. How he was such a peaceful presence, right? Was he peaceful? He was placid, right? He was, but he was a little bit of a pen whisperer, I mean, Pierre is, different people have this whole perspective where you can really feel where the thing is coming from. The pen, that is. That's so strange how hyperified the camera makes a thing. Look how it's so exaggerated, right? I mean, that's too much fun. And that's just a moment. That's not how I normally write. Whoa. I did tend to a thing there. But this pen is insane. I mean, it writes so well. I don't know if you can even see this. I hope you can. This pen is ridiculous. And I'll look at this in retrospect and say, you know, God, I should have done this with it. You know? But I mean, look at what you can do with this thing. It's crazy. This pen is sick. It's just absolutely outrageous. I mean, it's so supple and gentle. That's crazy. That's silly. And this thing's crazy. I mean, yeah, what a great pen, man. This is nuts. Oops, I screwed that up. Error. Great pen. It's amazing what you can do with this thing. And it's crazy. I mean, the whole thing with Gary, I mean, I bought this thing at his house. You know, I went to his house and paid for it. And we talked, and, you know, I asked him a question about when Waterman's Red Ripples actually first were made. Like, you know, we know roughly when they came out, but, like, when did they really come out? And we kind of went a little bit farther back than when the ripple part came in. We looked at the wood grain era, which is the first iteration, the first couple of years that red ripple pattern had come into existence. And it was late 1923. In a Pen Prophet newsletter. That's right, the Pen Prophet. December of 1923, and it was the English version of it. And I can't show that to you because it's not online anywhere. That's my hand. Ooh. But more interesting is that LEC, lower end covered part. Too cool, man. Anyway. Just a little bit here. I've shown this to you before, I'm sure. I know I have, but you gotta see this. It's too cool. So here it is. It's 1925, and this is, you know, this is basically what these pens look like, roughly. And we've got a, is that what we're doing? Is that, okay, now it's finally working. Good God. Crazy. Anyway, so we go to, that's the black ones and all the other cool stuff, but hold on, we've got to get to here. And what is it, page 20, whatever the heck we are. Almost there. That was the, right, that is the gold-filled version, which is already expensive enough. At $10. Then, in 1925, a huge amount of money. But here, yes, here it is. This pen here this pen here. $37, a lot of dough. Not cheap. And this has an imprint, or not an imprint, an engraving. That's right. Hold on. It's upside down. I think it's upside down. Hold on. It's here somewhere. There it is. So it's like FOF. I think that's how that's supposed to be. Is that right, or is it this? Somehow that looks more reasonable, doesn't it? It's like FOH, front of house, right? Anyway, so it's just an amazing pen. Gary Lehrer is amazing. I kind of, Myrna, his wife, sort of handled all of his social networking stuff. And, I'm just sending her a lot of love right now. Just an amazing person he was. And she's a sweetheart. They were both remarkable people. They were, right? They were, as Pierre suggested, and I'm attesting, they were a placid presence. They really were. I mean, just phenomenal people. And anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about something else that came up in conversation completely randomly. that was an abrupt, horrible truck driving, gear change into random nonsense. But anyway, the truth is, there's this whole discussion about how you hold these pens, the way they're designed and so forth. Doesn't seem to be, brought up. Like, this is how you hold the damn thing. It's how you hold it. There's a section here, and to explore what a particular pen does, and does well, and was designed to do, and just to live in that little world for a while. I mean, that's phenomenal, because there's so many of them. They're all different, right? They're all so different. So why not have some fun with them? Why not fall in love with them? Oh, totally. It's just these pens tell you what to do. They just listen to the nib. That's crazy. It's crazy. And a lot of it is just because of the angle that you have to be at just to write with this stuff. Crazy. I've got music queued up and stuff, but I'm not going to play it. I don't know. I think it's more about how you hold the thing. I think that's really interesting, and it's all different, This thing is a great pen. Whoa. So yeah, I've manhandled, person-handled. See that? It's not, yeah. That's stuff from my hand. It's gotta be. I mean, come on. This is amazing, isn't it? Isn't this just amazing? I mean, it's just... how it works. Just how it works with liquid ink instead of that horrible crap that you find in ballpoints. It's just... I don't know, it's just totally... Even here, where it's not writing properly because I've touched it too many times with my hand, it's still much more satisfying, even though it's not working. Well, anyway, this is a great pen. It's amazing. It's 14 karat gold. It was $37 in 1925. I mean, like, the whole thing is 14 karat gold. It's nuts, the whole overlay. This would be like a $2,000 pen now, easily. It's too cool. I'm really lucky to have it. Thank you so much, Gary. I miss you so much. What a great guy. We spent an afternoon in his house just poring over 100-year-old Waterman's Fountain Pen Company newsletters, the Pen Prophets. That's silly. What a nice guy. And Myrna, his charming, sweet, wonderful wife, she was just so accommodating and just, all right, let them have their fun, An angel. Anyway, great people. Myrna, my heart goes out to you. Gary's a great guy. What a mensch. So, anyway, thank you, Gary, for everything. And thank you, Watermans, for such a great pen. And thank you, Gary, for knowing how great this company was to make this stuff in the first place. So well. There's... I'll just add this as a little tag because I really should talk about this more. There's this whole discussion about, why a pen is so big, or, not why it's so big, but, why would it matter if it is? This one's kind of skinny, right? But it works well because, like, this section is so well designed. For me, anyway, the appeal of these larger pens is that they have, by Waterman's, by the way, they had the section is perfect. This section is perfect. It's just the perfect design. It's perfect. But they made it a little bit chubbier, and it was brilliant. When you got up to even the 56, it was a huge, capacious pen. It was like, whoa, held a lot of ink, was massive. It's still lightweight and easily controlled. But the section was, wide enough that the
the grip was super relaxed, but it was still focused enough and narrowed enough so that you could write with it with control. And that's an important part of it, that I've found is, if it's a really fat section, it's tremendously comfortable, but it's hard to control. But if it's, really skinny, you get a lot of control, but it may not be as, immediately warm and inviting like one of those big, like a lazy boy chair, So anyway, so that's it. Great pen, Gary. Thank you so much. I got only 2 pens from him. I got this one, which is extraordinary, and the 52V that I just got in September. That's part of what's so hard to absorb about this, is that he was just here, like, a few months ago, and he was fine. Anyway, great guy, amazing pen. I've made a few videos with it, so I figured it's not worth, talking about right now. Anyway, but thanks for joining me, and let's hear it for Gary. What a guy.